Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. Turkey's currency has remained under immense pressure recently. During last 10 years, Turkey's lira lost 75% of its value against US dollar, 45% in the last calendar year, and 15% only on last Tuesday. The government had to do some drastic measures to bring lira back on track. And in the course of action, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has taken a decision that is heavily criticized by the economic circles of the world community. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has promised that the government will meet the deficit for the savings that are made in lira if they fall below the rate of interest in the banks. Many international commentators are surprised with this move. This is also coupled with the fact that Turkey has recently been included in the FATF's grey list, for which many commentators have declared it a political decision because Turkey's economy was doing perfectly all right. To comment on these developments, I have with me in today's program Mr. Faheem Sardar, who is a famous and reputable expert of economic affairs. And with me from Turkey, I have Dr. Seljuk. He's a journalist of TRT World. I welcome both of my guests to the program. Faheem Sardar sahab, you have seen the recent depreciation of value of lira against US dollar. It just broke all the records. Government came up with this very unique strategy and lira came back immensely. How do you see this development as an economic expert?
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's important for government to sort of manage every currency based on the situation. There's no free float on earth, there's no free flying or floating currency because that just doesn't happen. You have to manage it within a band. What we have sitting in Pakistan observed is that the government of Turkey has stepped in to sort of strengthen the lira, and I'm sure our friend Dr. Seljuk can sort of guide us as to what happened exactly, but it's very clear that the government of Turkey has basically propped up the currency and built up value very quickly within a couple of days. Now, this is part of the volatile movement of the lira, which needs to be sort of managed more, I would say, carefully, because whenever volatility comes into a financial movement, it's important to sort of slow things down, just to make things a little more manageable. The government of Turkey has done exactly what the government should
be doing. Apart from the currency crisis as well, the recent inclusion of Turkey in FATF has raised the flag for many, and the country that has been doing a great job on the economic front has immediately, started catching limelight, and many are saying that this is purely based on political grounds. How do you see that?
FATF is basically, okay, fine, it's of course part of the UN umbrella, but FATF has taking certain decisions which many countries are challenging, Pakistan included. So what we like to see is a little more even-handed treatment, because, for example, when it comes to Pakistan, although you didn't ask me about Pakistan, I'll start with Pakistan. We have done things well beyond the average white-listed country, but we're still on the grey list, so that makes us wonder. So that would make Turkey wonder as well why they're on the grey list. The effect of being on the FATF grey list is basically what happens is it reduces your freedom to work as compared to if you had been on the white list. We have the examples of, we have so many examples, one of which is, I'll quote Nigeria, because the moment they sort of got onto the watch list, they started experiencing problems. When they started showing intensity in fixing the problems, they started seeing improvements. We see that same example happening in, say, Turkey. That will be one of the reasons that they would have faced an issue. However, I do believe the heavy debt situation, the low interest rate, and reportedly an unorthodox way of dealing with interest rates may have caused a bit of volatility in the market. You can clearly see that the Turkish government is trying to control it, and you've seen results in 2 days.
Let me include Dr. Seljuk in this conversation. Maybe he can tell us a different perspective. Dr. Seljuk, how do you see this recent development that has happened, and President Erdogan has given a different economic strategy that the entire world believes is not bound to work, but still it has brought Lira out of the crisis straight away. How do you see that, sir?
Indeed, Turkey's current economic policy should be understood through the domestic politics of Turkey, because Turkey is going to election, and opposition parties are pushing government to do early election. And opposition parties are, and indeed we can say the opposition bloc, always emphasizing the economic issues in Turkey, and specifically the USD, the increasing of USD. But what happened recently in Turkey, Turkey is under pressure in both. We can say because of the COVID pandemic situation in Turkey, which influenced Turkish economy a lot, and we can say all countries are influenced a lot. But what Turkey did, Turkey is currently focusing on the development. And Turkish development rate is incredibly high if we compare the other countries in the world. I will give you some data. That according to IMF, Turkey is going to grow 9% this year, 9%. And according to OECD, and again, in the second quarter, it will be one of the greatest growth rate in the world as well. What President Erdogan is trying to do, President Erdogan trying to increase the growth rate of Turkey. Because of that, what you should do, you should always finance your companies. Because of that, Turkey wants to decrease the interest rate. Instead of protect the money and other things, they want to decrease the interest rate to make Turkish economy more vivid and more growth rate. And which also influenced the people during the election, because if there is a job, if there is a money, people will support the current government. But if you increase the interest rate, it means that there would be the unemployment. And because of the pandemic situation, unemployment rate, unfortunately, is very high across the world. And secondly, which is also one of the greatest development in the world, there is a competition between West and China during these economic issues and period. And Turkey wants to be the center of production of the Western countries. Geographically and historically, Turkey is one of the closest ally of Western countries. And also, Turkey is also one of the greatest producer country across, we can say, in the Middle East and Central Asia, which are the more geographically close to European countries. That's why Turkey wants to support the companies to produce. And also, secondly, during this COVID period, commodity price increased if we compare the currency rate. That's why Turkey wants to increase the commodity growth rate and this kind of policies. This is the Turkish politics right now during the economy. And what Turkey did when the USD increased incredibly, and we can say the doubleized within 1 month, because last month it was 8.559 Turkish Lira, and last week it reached around 18 Turkish Lira, which means within 1 month doubleized. But when Erdogan give a guarantee to people to protect their value of money against USD, and people turn to use the Turkish Lira. That's why USD decreased around 11 Turkish Lira right now from 18 Turkish Lira.
But Dr. Seljuk, I completely agree with the statistics and the numbers that you have presented. There's no doubt that the economy has been growing with a massive pace of 9% before the COVID hit the entire world. But don't you think that the increasing gap between Turkey and United States, Turkey and the European Union, Turkey and the Middle Eastern countries have actually played a more active role in shaping up the current economic crisis for Turkey?
Yes, you're right. And Turkey and Western relation is going a bit problematic during this Middle Eastern politics. But what Turkey did recently, Turkey tried to try to make better relation with European countries, even with the GCC countries. You know that last week, Turkey and United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia went more stable relations, and also Turkey started the we can say the peace process with Armenia, and the direct flights started. So Turkey wants to give a green light to the foreign countries, international area, to say that we want to stable international relations, we want to solve the Middle Eastern politics, and also we want to more close with the European countries while we experience lots of problems. And during that period, Turkey used her advantages. So what are the advantages of Turkey? One, geography. Second, history, because Turkey is still in the European Union process, and Turkey is also one of the most greatest producer and of European countries. Because if you look at the export rate of Turkey, and Germany, United Kingdom, France are in the top 5. So Turkey wants to maintain this relation, and Turkey wants to improve export rate through these economic policies.
You're right to a great extent, but let me take Mr. Faheem Sardar in the same conversation. Faheem Sardar, there have been recently problems between United States and Turkey. United States has not so far finalized the F-16 deal with Turkey. The relationship have also remained marred between Turkey and European Union. Do you believe that these external factors have also had an impact on shaping the current economic crisis for Turkey?
Politics always influences the economy, come what may, and the economy and politics are, I think, two sides of the same coin, which just depends how you look at it. So, I mean, you can never ever exclude external politics from what's happening in your country. The situation with Turkey is that Turkey is regionally very active, and it has been very vocal about certain positions which perhaps are not very acceptable to certain countries. At the end of the day, your economy has to be, well, it has to be in line with your political desires. I mean, when you look at Turkey's exports and imports, it's reasonably balanced out, so to speak, but most of their exports are going towards Western countries. And Turkey is quite I call it import exposed because there are quite a lot of heavy imports coming into Turkey, that too from the same country that they're exporting to roundabout. But when it comes to politics, we have to understand that, look, you cannot isolate the two, the economy and the political environment. They both go hand in hand. If, for example, there had been a more conducive environment for Turkey, even for other countries, then they would not be facing let's say, such harshness at the FATF platform. Let's be very fair. Right now, what Turkey is doing is, it's very clear that they're trying to balance things out. They're trying to balance out the political environment internally and externally, because as Dr. Seljuk very aptly said, that elections are coming up inside Turkey very soon. That's the thing, but you've got the external political front as well, which is quite fluid on various fronts. And Turkey is sort of the center of it. So
I agree with you. I agree with
you.
you, Faheem Sab. Let me take Dr. Seljuk into this conversation. Dr. Seljuk, how do you see the relationship between Egypt and Turkey that have not remained very pleasant for last some time? But I believe recently there have been some efforts made from the Turkish side to see if the ice can be broken between the two.
Absolutely, this relationship is very significant for Turkey because before the Sisi coup, Turkey has like an incredible relation with Egypt, and Turkish companies are doing very much well in Egypt, and most of the businessmen invested Egypt a lot. But what happened after Sisi coup? And Sisi did lots of the human rights crimes. And Sisi also did lots of problems in Egypt, and Turkish investors couldn't make well during this process. And also what Turkey's position during that period, as we remember, the Middle East experienced incredible developments after the Arab Spring, and Egypt is one of the center of that. And Turkey was very much hope for Middle Eastern and Islamic countries to be more democratic, and Turkey supported all process. But after coup, Egypt deliberately targeted Turkey, and Turkey also tried to protect the human rights in Egypt. And this process increased the bilateral relation. But what happened? Turkey also and Egypt also tried to engage more, because when they clashed, it affects everywhere. For instance, if you look at the Mediterranean politics, and as you know, there is an incredible oil reserve in Eastern Mediterranean area, specifically in Cyprus. And Egypt tried to support the Greek Cyprus, and they want to ban Turkish interest there. And what Turkey did also, Turkey also tried to protect all oppositions of Egypt. And this process is like a, this process influence both sides negatively. But recently, when Turkey started to this negotiation process, which started in Iraq, Baghdad Forum, and after that they met in GCC area as well, so bilateral relations increased. And Turkey also, Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu gave a message for Egypt as well, try to increase the diplomatic relations. So I think it will going better if you compare the, let's say, after the coup period. But what Turkey tries to do, United Arab Emirates, for instance, also many newspapers and journalists claim that United Arab Emirates is also one of the partner of the coup plotters in Turkey, the FETÖ guys, and they had a relations with this group as well. But what Turkey trying to do right now, trying to increase diplomatic relations in any country. If you look at Armenia, and just last year, when the conflict started between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Turkey openly supported Azerbaijan, and Turkish İHA and SİHAs, the drones, are the game changer in this conflict. But what Turkey did, again started the diplomatic relations with Armenia. So the Turkish position is always clear, always open to any diplomatic relations, doesn't matter which country, but when these countries attack the Turkish domestic politics and Turkish interests and security, they will get their answer. So recently, Egypt and Turkey is trying to increase their bilateral relations, and Turkey is very much positive this period, and Turkey doesn't have any energy more to this conflict, because if you look at the Turkish borderland, Iraq and Syria is right now in we can say, the civil war. And Turkey has more than 5 million refugees. And Turkey wants to mediate all problems in Middle East right now and the other countries. That's why main purpose of Turkey is the peace and good relations. That's why if Egypt comes to that point, the relations will be better.
Dr. Seljuk, you just very importantly pointed out almost all the neighboring countries as well as the active conflicts that I had on my list that Turkey is facing at the moment. Tell me, this diplomatic isolation or the diplomatic problems that Turkey has been facing for all the reasons that you very nicely illustrated, as well as coupled with the recent economic problem that have got something to do with the currency crisis, something with COVID, and have a factor of FATF as well. How does it affect the position of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in the domestic politics? Because he's a very important politician in the international arena, and he's looked at with a lot of admiration in this part of the world. So my viewers would like to understand, how does his position look in the local politics given all these problems that Turkey is facing at the moment?
You indeed very good summarize the problems of Turkey, because Turkey experienced isolation politics from the United States. and which started when Turkey tried to protect its borderland, when Turkey tried to secularize her country, and when we look at the Iraq and Syria, the borderland area, and the PKK terrorist group, and this group also attacked Turkey. But when you see the table, Turkey is the member of NATO, but PKK is the partner of, like we can say, the branch of the PKK, YPG, is a partner of the United States in Syria. So Turkey is always trying to protect its rights and security. And as you asked in the beginning, the F-16 issue, and how F-16 issue started when Turkey started to buy some weapons from Russia. But Turkey has to buy these weapons to protect its borderland. And these problems cause lots of issues. And over, not only Turkey, but also Pakistan as well, experienced these problems with the United States when Trump was president. And the policy and diplomatic policy, like a foreign policy of Trump, was like a Twitter policy. At the end, Twitter banned Trump as well. That's quite interesting. And what Trump was trying to do is like giving a message from Twitter and threatening Turkey, trying to isolate Turkey. But at the end of the picture, Turkey protected its rights, and as you write, it also has an other side which also influences the local politics as well. Because during these all international problems, because Turkey is not only protecting its rights, Turkey is always protecting the Muslim rights in Western countries who are under the Islamophobic attacks. Turkey is always protecting the Palestinian rights, which is also a very significant problem in the world. Turkey is always also protecting and saying that the rights of the other countries, not only 5 countries in the United Nations, and President Erdogan says that world is bigger than 5, which is very much clear. And Muslim countries and Muslim population in the world, and second biggest population in the world, they haven't any right in UN. That's the problem. And Erdogan is always raising his issue. And this discourse. Yes.
Dr. Saduk, thank you very much for being so insightful. I have to take a quick comment from Mr. Faheem Sardar. Faheem Sahab, you have any expectations from the future as the economy of Turkey is currently in shambles? Do you expect anything to happen pretty soon?
Well, to be honest, I don't think it's in shambles. I think it's in a bit of a wobbly situation, which they will recover from this situation, provided 2-3 things are done. Firstly, interest rates will have to be raised a little bit to stabilize the economy. Number 2, they have to increase their ability to just keep the liquidity in the country flowing. That includes the loan mechanisms and the repayment systems, which has come under pressure. Finally, I think one thing which is very important, and I'm sure the Turkish government is looking at it, is their industry. Turkey does have a strong industrial base, which it's looking towards to sort of build the economy back up. I mean, I won't get into services right now, but what we see is that there was an import exposure, what I call it. And they've sort of been exposed.
Thank you very much, Faheem Sahab. We are running out of time. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, both of my guests have very wisely pointed out the problems that Turkey have at the moment. In this part of the world, there is a lot of admiration for the leadership of Turkey because of Turkey's stand on issues like Kashmir and Israel. Kashmir and Israel are the issues where many countries have shied away from giving straightforward statements. Turkey has never shied away from that. And the way the Turkey's leadership is dealing with the crisis, we expect great things to happen with Turkey in near future, as Faheem Sardar Saab said, with the right focus in the fiscal policy. We